Hey folks, this is Sean with the CubeCast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be getting into this incident that happened a couple days ago with this American-owned entertainment company. The name of the company is Blizzard Entertainment, and they're like kind of an online gaming company. They host these tournaments. So a couple days ago, they were hosting this Hearthstone Grandmasters tournament, and there was a Hong Kong-based player that won his match against a South Korean player. And during this post-game interview with these two guys up here, you can see the guy who won up here on the right with the gas mask and the goggles. His username is blitzchung. So during this post-game interview, he appeared wearing this gas mask and goggles. He's from Hong Kong, so he's obviously expressing his support for the protests that are going on over there. And when he pulls his gas mask down in his native language, he says, right here, he says, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our time." And what that is that's a slogan that's become popular chant that people scream and kind of shout and repeat during the protests that have been ongoing over in Hong Kong recently. And this guy was immediately he was axed immediately. You can see that the two guys up here that he's interviewing with, when they see his face, they already know there's trouble. So they're ducking down under the desk because they know that he showed up for the interview wearing this protest gear and the slogan that he chanted. They already know it's going to be trouble. They immediately cut to a commercial, and so he was for the crime of showing support for the people in his native country. He was banned from participating in any further tournaments. Now, this is a pro player here. He was banned from participating in any tournaments for 1 year, and they took all of his the proceeds that he's won. So his prize money was gone. His crime, offending the dictators over in China. Now you got to remember, this is an American-based entertainment company. They're not a Chinese company. This is American-based. They're based in California, and they axed this guy. They got rid of him. They don't want anything to do with him because they don't want to anger the government over in China. And we're seeing this more and more in this country, this censorship where people are self-censoring. People are self-censoring over in America to avoid angering the dictators over in communist China, which I find absolutely disgusting. We saw it this week with the NBA. The Houston Rockets general manager had tweeted out his support for the protesters in Hong Kong, and it offended the Chinese government. They let them know that they were offended, and so what did he do? He took the tweet down and he issued an apology, and then in no short order, the hacks that play in the NBA started apologizing as well, because they don't care about human rights. They're not woke social justice warriors. They only care about the cash that they're putting in their pockets, and they didn't want their bottom line to be affected because they got a ton of fans over in China and a ton of sponsors. That's they're tapped into that market, and I mean, let's be honest, that's a huge market. There's a lot of people in China. But if the Chinese government doesn't want their people watching NBA games anymore, or buying Nike sneakers, or watching these online gaming tournaments, they'll just shut it down. They don't have to ask people or persuade people not to invest their money in these companies. They'll just turn it off. And they have that power over in China. We don't do that over here, and I don't want us to start doing that over here. So the people that are censoring themselves to appease the dictators in communist China, they're a bunch of morons. This has to stop. When this guy was suspended, this player, Blitzchung, was suspended, It did create a backlash in the online gaming community. A lot of people shut down their accounts with this company, and they also vowed not to participate in their tournaments anymore. And that's what people have to do. If you want them to listen, they only care about cash, so you got to hit them in their pocketbooks. And that's what people are going to do. I said it in a video earlier in the week about the NBA. You got to hit these morons in their pocketbooks because that's all they care about. They don't care about the human rights abuses that are going on in China. They only care about the cash that comes out of the country. And if they have to censor themselves so as not to anger the dictators over there, that's what they're going to do. So we need to start messing with these people's money, and maybe they'll start listening, and maybe they'll start understanding that we don't want to censor ourselves in this country. This isn't communist China. We don't live in this totalitarian dictatorship yet, and we don't have to bow down to the leaders over there. We say what we want. I don't see anything wrong with what this guy did. Like I said, he's from Hong Kong. This is what's going on in his country, and he was just showing solidarity with the people, the pro-democracy protesters that want to remain free of the communist regime in China that is slowly encroaching into his country. He got suspended for a year, and then they took his cash. I'm not sure if he knew that was going to happen, but obviously the two guys that he was interviewing with definitely knew, as evidenced by the fact that they ducked under the desk because they knew that at that point they knew that was going to be trouble, which is pretty disturbing. Anyway, I just wanted to get into that. Thanks for watching.